Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in, coming back and watching and all that stuff. I appreciate it. I hope your day is going great. And I am having fun in Topaz Studio 2. Well, that would be 4. Version 2. It's brand new. It's coming out today. And I'm a fan of Topaz Studio version 1. I've got a number of videos I've shared with you, and I was going to say, hey, check them out there, but that'd be a waste of time because Topaz Studio 2 is different. It's new. It's proved. It's got a new... improved, not proved. It's got a new user interface, so it's different. And it's cleaner, better, faster, all that stuff. So I'm going to hop into that. It launches today. I'll put a link down below. Note that is an affiliate link. If you click on that and choose to purchase anything, I get a small commission. That helps support me, and I keep making these training videos for you, which are free. You can come back here and learn, and it doesn't cost you any more to do that. And by the way, there's a coupon code JimNix that may save you some money as well. Sometimes when products launch, those coupon codes are disabled, so I'm not really sure if it'll work, but regardless, if you use my link, that's a big help. I appreciate it. Let's get into the product. Okay, so here we are in Topaz Studio version 2. Now, the interface is different, it's cleaner, and I like it. So if you used version 1, if you didn't, none of this is going to matter, but in version 1, on the left-hand side over here, you had all the presets, is what I call them, looks, if you will. I think they were called effects, but you had that whole menu, and I always close that. At the bottom, you had the tools menu, which is like crop and like the healing brush and things like that. And then I always close that. And then on the right-hand side is where you just could access the individual filters, and that was what I kept open. That's what I like, that the first thing that immediately catches my eye in version 2 here is you don't have to do all of that. The left-hand panel is gone. The bottom panel, this is something I want to point out. The bottom panel in Studio 1 is where you got, as I said, the crop tool, the eraser, the new image layer where you could like add a sky and then mask in a new sky. Those tools are not currently in version 2, but they tell me they're coming. I think it's important to have them, and I wanted to point out that they're not in this version, but Topaz iterates and adds to their products and does updates fairly frequently. So they did tell me that they are coming, so I trust that that is coming soon. So that would put it on par in terms of those tools. But I wanted to point that out because I can't show them to you today because they're not in the beta version that I'm running, which you can see right here. But today, the new version comes out and it won't be beta, it'll be real. And those features are coming soon. I just don't know what the timing is. So let's jump into this. You can see going across the top, you can open a new image, export, etc. Here's your view dialog where you can split it differently, like a side-by-side vertical, right? Which is kind of weird. I meant to do horizontal. Things like that, right? You can do the split screen vertical like that if you wanted, or split screen, if I could move my mouse, horizontal. That's kind of the traditional split screen. Now there's no difference because I haven't made any edits to the photo, but that's your view menu. Here you can fit to the screen, and you can zoom and that sort of thing. I'm just going to go back to fit. And over here is your effects panel. So this is where you can get to the presets or the looks. They're called looks now. I have a history of calling them presets, so it's kind of hard to get that terminology in there. And the filter panel. I like the fact that they've collapsed these into this one right-hand panel as a panel, because as I said, that gives me the ability to just have more real estate for my image, and it's photo editing. Like, you want your image to be as big as possible so that when you're looking at it, you can say, okay, that looks good. You don't have a small photo. So that's nice. Also, there's layers built in, as you can, well, you can't see yet, but you're gonna. This is my base layer. It's locked, which means you can't get rid of the base layer, etc. So here's what you can do. You can just go in and say, add filters. Ooh, actually, before I do that, let me pause. One of the great things about Studio 1 was that it was free, no charge, and with it, you got 10 adjustments. Separately, there were a bunch of pro adjustments, and you had to buy each of those individually. So that was one of the things I think a lot of people weren't so sure about, or maybe didn't get Studio because, you get the base one for free, and it was fairly capable for free. But with only 10 filters, you kind of always wanted to get the pro stuff, and then you start buying filters, and it starts to add up, and you could literally spend a few $100s to get all of the pro filters. Completely different pricing model in Studio 2, and I think much better, and that is, there is no free product anymore. Topaz Studio 2 is $99.99. So I'm going to call it $100. So for $100, you get Topaz Studio 2, but you get every one of the adjustments. So you get what was formerly known as a free adjustment and what was formerly known as a pro adjustment that you used to have to pay for individually. You get all of those for that $100. That's way cheaper than in Studio One where you bought all of the pro adjustments individually. Now, Topaz has a great upgrade policy with all of their products, which is buy it once, own it forever. So they've taken care of Studio One users. If you were a Studio One user and bought pro adjustments that exceeded that $100 amount, you're going to get Studio 2 for free. If you spent money on adjustments, pro adjustments in Studio One, but it fell short of the $100 total, let's say you spent $75 on pro adjustments, they're only going to charge you the difference between how much you spent and what's left to get to the $100 cost for Studio 2. So let's say you spent $75 on pro adjustments in Studio One. You're only going to have to pay $25 to get Studio 2. And that's going to include every pro adjustment. So they're going to have a website that's going to allow you to figure that out. They're going to give you credit and all that stuff. These people have this kind of stuff wired. So I wanted to point that out because that's a big change, and I think a great one, and probably a welcome change. You pay $100 one time and you get everything. I love that. So I wanted to pause before I got into the filters because I wanted to clarify it's no longer free and pro. It's just here's all the filters. So click the blue button and here's all your filters. They're now categorized by style, color, and fix. By the way, you can collapse these menus if you want to. I kind of like leaving them open. But this, and you can heart them or fave them, so you can just then click on your favorites menu, and you see I haven't done that, right? So anyway, this is where you can go in and say, hey, you know what I really want to do is some precision contrast. So you go down here, you find precision contrast, the filter pops up, and I want to add a little low contrast, maybe some micro to bring up some of that, and blah, 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 and start messing around with your photo. You can then add another filter and then say, I'm going to get a vignette, and I'm going to go, increase the strength, reduce the size, whatever. I'm making it up as I go here. Each of these is considered a different layer. So this is basically now a layers panel. So you've got your base layer, which is my JPEG image. I've got my precision contrast, which I can always go back to and continue to refine. And now I've got vignette. Each of these is a separate layer. You have the eyeball, turn it off to see what it's like before, turn it back on. I can delete it if I want. I'm going to get rid of the vignette. And I have a masking tool here. Once I click on that, it brings up the mask. Now, masking is built into Topaz Studio 2. It was also in 1, and it's super powerful because that allows you to say, hey, I like precision contrast, Jim, but I only want it in certain parts of the photo. Okay, cool. Let's put it in certain parts of the photo. Click on the brush. Remember, whoever made this up needs like a gold star and like a raise. But this is an expression that's been around forever around masking, and that is black conceals and white reveals. So my mask, this is your masking screen right here, currently is white, which means the entire edit that I did on precision contrast is being revealed on the photo. But I want to get rid of some of that. So I'm on hide, and so I'm basically going to mask out some of the effect. And so I'm going to click brush, and I'm going to increase my radius. So my brush is a lot bigger. So I want to hide it or mask out from the sky. I don't need any precision contrast in the sky, and I'm doing a sloppy job. I'm in a hurry, so I don't want to waste everybody's time. And you can see that my mask has now been applied. So black conceals, that's black in the sky, white reveals. So precision contrast is being revealed just in the structure and being concealed in the sky. So that's a basic idea of how masking works. And as you can see, it's quick and easy. I will do a future video about masking to go into more detail because there's a lot of stuff here. But I just wanted to point out it's there, it's easy, and it's powerful. So you can do that with any and every filter. So now I'm going to reset all this and we're going to jump into looks. Okay, so deleted that. Now looks here. This is where a lot of the creative fun comes in with Topaz Studio because it has all these different things built into it. Remember, you've got textures, you've got Topaz Impression, you've got Topaz Simplify. You've got all these different amazing controls that are built in. You can go get them individually in the filters panel, which we were just in. But in looks, I like to go in there and just say, all right, you can start with all, and you can see all of these. and you can just start scrolling, and you can see where my little gauge is. It tells me how far along I am, and I'm not far along at all. And I can scroll and scroll, and we'll be here for a while to go through all these different looks in every category. You may prefer to say, you know what I really want to do is create a dramatic photo. Okay, here's a dramatic photo. So you can just come in here and say, ooh, I like this dramatic HDR. It applies it automatically to your photo. You can adjust the opacity. Hey, Jim, I like it, but at 100, it's a little too HDR for me. At 50, it looks pretty good, actually. And in fact, it does look pretty good. I'm going to hit apply, and then it's going to drop it onto your photo. Here's where layers comes in. You'll notice that it says dramatic HDR, which is the name of the look. That's at the top. Below that are 3 different filter names. Those filters are the 3 filters that comprise the dramatic HDR look. The dramatic HDR look, that's a layer. Notice that the length of this rectangle that says dramatic HDR goes all the way from left to right, just like this base JPEG does. So base JPEG is a layer, dramatic HDR is the next layer. The filters that comprise this dramatic HDR layer are precision contrast, vignette, and basic adjustment. Okay, so as I said, you can jump into each of these and your filter comes up and you can just make adjustments to the image as you see fit. But you can also click that to collapse the look, that is. Also you can just close that because I was in the precision contrast filter. So that's how you add layers or looks on top to create a new layer with the look. You could add another look, which would add another layer, or I could just go get another filter. So I'm gonna go get a filter, and I'm gonna get one of my favorites, which is quad tone. It's a beautiful color filter, I think, and I really like just the built-in default kind of color scheme here. I'm just gonna drag this to the right, and you can kind of see what it's doing to the image. And I like the look, but mostly in the sky. So once again, I might just go in here and say, I'm gonna mask, and I'm just gonna come in here, and I get the brush, and I'm gonna increase the radius so that the size of the brush, and remember, white reveals, black conceals. So I'm just gonna paint here, which is concealing this effect from the all the structure so that all the color of that sky is being shown in the sky. So once again, sloppy job because I'm going quick, but I added a quick mask just to apply. I'm gonna hit apply, and I'm gonna hit close. And now I've added quad tone as a masked adjustment filter just in the sky. And once again, it's on its own layer. So again, the layers panel at work on display here. Here's the before. I've disabled that layer, which is just a filter, and I've now turned it back on. Anyway, so that's the basics of how Topaz Studio 2 works. I love the interface. It's simple, it's powerful, it's quick. I love the built-in masking, which is capable and powerful and edge-aware, I might add. And I'll get to that in future videos. You've got all the pro filters and all the basic filters built in for the low price of $100, which I think is powerful. And the things like crop, healing, and new image layer to like replace a sky, etc. That stuff is coming soon. You can also use Topaz Studio 2 as a standalone or a plugin to your favorite apps like Lightroom or Photoshop. They've also indicated that Topaz Studio at launch doesn't support its own plugins, but that they will add that in an update soon. Okay, and a couple of things to keep in mind. The previous version, Studio 1, had a native file format called a .tsp file. Those files are not compatible with Studio 2. Also, presets that you made in Studio 1 are not compatible at launch in Studio 2, but they're building a utility so that you can migrate them from Studio 1 to Studio 2 so you can use them here. Okay, so that's a summary, kind of a first look at Topaz Studio 2. I'm having fun with the product. I love all the stuff being here. Like all the filters are built in, all the looks are pretty awesome, and there's copious amounts of them. This was not even close to a comprehensive tour of that. And with the tools that are coming, like the spot healing and the crop tool and the image layer, things like that, I love that, and I love how they add layers over here. Love the masking. There's a lot of things I like about it. It's a very powerful product. I'm having fun, so hope you liked my first look video. Just wanted to share some initial impressions of this and give you guys some insight into what it looks like. So again, hit the link down below if you're interested in checking it out. I'll also link to their blog post down below, so if you want to check that out and read about it, you can do so. And I appreciate the support and the visits and the views. Also love the comments, the feedbacks. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up or whatever it's called on YouTube, a like, I guess. I'll do my best to answer any questions that are made available here. So thanks, my friends. Appreciate you watching. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Take care and adios.